everybody. Good morning, class of 2021. I gotta say, I need a little more energy right now than I did with the first cohort. I couldn't tell if they were smiling, if they were excited, or whatever else. So if you don't mind, give me a little bit of energy back here. So class of 2021, where are you? Yes, I'm glad you're a little bit excited because we're excited, and I'm gonna tell you, it's okay to be excited. We've got lots of good stuff happening for you in the next 5 weeks. And so emphasis on a lot and exciting. So today, you're going to get all of the information that you need about all of the big things coming up for your senior year. It's a lot, and it's exciting. Today, you need to go home and have a conversation with your family today about all this stuff. Inevitably, unfortunately, we will have seniors come up to us and say, I didn't know this was happening, or I didn't have time to plan this. You've got time, and it needs to be today. Mark your calendars. Everything is on here. Everything we're doing, every deadline, how to do it. And if you've never graduated from high school before and you've got questions, we've got answers. You've got to come ask us, though. We're willing to help. We're glad you're here, and look forward to a great 5 weeks. Thank you, folks.
Good morning. All right, most of y'all know what I do around here. I get most of the discipline, Mr. Wright and I, and some of you know that better than others, of course. But I need to talk to you a little bit about that today. Walking in graduation and participating in the activities you're about to hear about is a privilege, okay? Right now, all of you are still eligible for that privilege. The one thing I want to talk to you about is, and I hesitate to use the word, but let's not do anything stupid, okay? You know, senior pranks, those kind of things can get you pulled from graduation, and you may have to wait to get to your diploma until the week after all final exams are given. I don't want to do that to you. You don't want me to do that to you, and your parents surely don't want you to do that. Okay? So before you do anything abnormal, I need you to think it through. If you have a question, come see me. All right? I will talk to you about it. That's not a problem. However, I don't want to be calling you in to have a meeting because something's done. All right? Is that clear? You got that? Because every year I have to deal with this, and I just prefer not to this year. Okay? Great. Thank you.
All right, good morning, guys. We're going to start by going through the senior letter that you were given. So page 1 is just a list of all the deadlines and events coming up. Make sure you show this packet to your family. So we're going to start on page 2. The first event we want to point out is April 14th, which is tomorrow. Everybody can pick up their cap and gown tomorrow from 10 to 2 in the student parking lot. This is going to be a special event. It's going to be drive-through style. We're going to have another special surprise for you all, but make sure you come with your money if you haven't paid off your cap and gown. You do have to have everything paid in order to pick it up, and that if you ordered from Johnston or you are renting from the school. So please make sure you come by tomorrow. Next several things are deadlines. So for the end of the year, we are going to celebrate you guys a lot, but we need information to help celebrate you all. So later on this week, you are going to get a Google form, and you need to fill it out to let us know what your plan is for after high school. Whether it's work, military, college, whatever it is, we want to know. Make sure you submit this by April 30th so that way we can celebrate and use that information on one of our later events. And also on April 30th, that is going to be the deadline to sign up for the Senior Extravaganza Day. This day, Ms. Clark's going to sort of provide you with an overview in just a little bit, but you do have to sign up for this event in advance. Sign-ups will open on April 15th, so that way everybody has the same shot to sign up. So CALA Connect, early grads, hybrid students, everybody can participate in all of these events. But just make sure you sign up for the Senior Extravaganza Day by April 30th. Also, AP exams. If you are in any AP class, those exams are May 3rd through the 20th. There is only one conflict with AP exams and senior events, and that is with the AP Literature exam. The AP Literature exam is the morning of May 5th, so you can still participate in the Senior Extravaganza Day on May 5th. Just make sure you sign up for one of the later time slots. We've made it work where you can still participate in all of them. The other thing is May 4th. That is when handicap seating and parking, that request form is due. This is a hard deadline. Make sure you turn it in to Dr. Young on or before this deadline. And Ms. Hawes is going to explain how that's going to work in the graduation portion. The other thing on May 4th is the deadline to report scholarships. When you graduate, inside the graduation program, there's a list of all of you all's names and any scholarships that you earned. If you would like your name in that program with any scholarships you earned, you have to let us know by May 4th. Moving on, we're going to let Ms. Clark now talk about Senior Extravaganza Day.
All right, guys, on May 5th, we're going to have a senior extravaganza. You've already lost so much this year due to COVID, so we wanted to make sure you were able to still somewhat have your cap and gown ceremony, your awards day ceremony, and your decision day ceremony. So this senior extravaganza is kind of going to encompass all of that. You will get to come with 2 guests. They will cap you, like the capping ceremony, so you'll make sure you bring your cap and gown with you to that May 5th day. You'll get to come in groups of 8. You will get a sign-up sheet in your email on April 15th. Make sure you fill that out. Get with your friends so you can pick a time together. And you and your 2 guests will come and walk through the school. There'll be different stations that will have different things. It's going to be kind of exciting. If you have anybody who is going to need to use the elevator, make sure you put that in the form because that will alter the route that you take. So we need that information as well. So again, make sure you get with your friends, you fill out that form so you can get on the day. If you have an AP exam that day, make sure you pay attention to the times so that you can sign up for a time that doesn't overlap with your AP exam. All right, thank you.
All right, so now if everybody can flip to page 4. At the top of page 4 is the deadline to request a small graduation ceremony. Due to health and safety concerns, if you do not wish to participate in the large group graduation ceremony, you can complete a Google form. It must be completed by May 7th to request a small graduation ceremony. Now, if you choose this, you cannot also participate in regular graduation. You can only do a small graduation ceremony or the regular graduation. You cannot do both. And then after you submit that form, we will be sending out more details regarding that. The next thing we're going to talk about is cap decorations. So this is something that is optional. You do not have to decorate your cap for graduation, but we know some of you really like to do that. So in order to decorate your cap, you have to first have it approved. And so you're going to see Miss Weaver or Miss Burns to get that approved. So you can just, sketch something out. You can send them a picture of what you want to do. You can email it to them, go by their classroom to see them. Just make sure you show it to them by May 14th. Now when you're decorating, you cannot decorate to the point where it hangs over or it exceeds a height of over 1/2 inch. And if it is offensive or if it does not meet the dress code, we can take it off. So here's just an example. And so again, you have to have it approved, and then they're going to give you the cardstock, and then you're going to place that cardstock on top of the graduation cap. And then you're just gonna make sure that all the edges are lined up because it's gonna be already pre-cut to where it'll fit exactly on top of your cap. And then you're gonna attach it, and hot glue works good. And if you need help with this, Miss Weaver said she can help as well. And then again, just remember it has to meet certain requirements, and it has to meet the dress code. And it can be removed if it is inappropriate. And so there are just a couple examples. So if you want to do that, definitely just make sure you see Miss Weaver, Miss Burns, get it approved, get your cardstock, and then you're good to go. So the next thing, going back to page 4, are senior exams. So because you all graduate a week before school ends, your final exams are early as well. So you all take exams a week before everybody else in the school. So since you all are face-to-face students, those exams are going to be Tuesday, May 18th is going to be your first and second period teacher-made exams and any EOCs that you might have. Wednesday, May 19th are going to be all of your CTE exams, and you'll get an email with the specific times. And then Thursday, May 20th will be your third and fourth period exams. So if you notice, you've got exams Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of that week. Friday is graduation practice, and then Saturday is graduation. So there's not hardly any time for makeup exams. So make sure you come at the right times to take your exams. Because if not, there's going to be some hiccups in this situation. So make sure, if you still have an exam or a final average of 80 or higher, you can still be exempt from teacher-made exams, but please make sure you pay attention to your exam schedule and you show up when you're supposed to. So the next thing on the list is baccalaureate, and that is at 7 o'clock on Wednesday, May 19th. And that is going to take place in the main gym. This is not a mandatory ceremony, it is optional. We will have tickets for this event, and so your family will be able to request tickets the week of May 12th through May 17th. You will be able to bring 4 guests with you, and graduates will need to be here in order to get lined up ready to go at 6:30, and you do wear all of your graduation attire for this event. And a link will be sent out in order to sign up for those tickets online. So the next thing on there is graduation practice, and that is May 21st, so that's the Friday before graduation. Graduation practice is mandatory. Please take off of work. If you miss graduation practice, you cannot participate in graduation the next day. You have to be there. So graduation practice starts at 9 o'clock that day, and it's going to last between 2 and 2.5 hours. Because we will practice marching in, everybody will walk across the stage just so you know the feel, how to go. We'll also practice reading all of your names. So it's going to take some time. So make sure you have sunscreen, because it's going to be hot, we'll be outside. And if we need to practice indoor, we'll also do that. But masks will be required. But again, just make sure, go ahead and take off of work so you can be there for that practice. And the last thing I'm going to talk about before we go over everything graduation related is senior debt. All of your debt and all of your stuff has to be turned in by May 21st. So please make sure you have any senior fees, any debts, PE uniforms, any of that, Chromebooks, chargers, hotspots, all of that has to be turned in by the end of graduation practice on Friday, May 21st. So please make sure you take care of that. Thanks.
All right, so now we're going to get to talk about graduation. So the first thing we're going to talk about is graduation dress. So you have some different options. So one option would be wearing black slacks, black dress shoes. So please don't wear like tennis shoes or boots. Dark socks, a white button-down shirt, the ones that have the collars, and a dark tie. The other option would be to wear a dress or a blouse with a skirt or floor-length black pants, not capris. Some low-heeled black shoes with a back or strap on the heel. We do just recommend the strap on the heel because I promise if you're wearing like heels outside in the stadium and your heels are just sinking, it's going to pop off your foot. So just be really smart when you're picking out your shoes. And then the biggest thing is personal attire should not be seen above the neckline or below the gown. So if you're wearing this bright yellow dress, you don't want it to be seen up at the top because then it kind of just stands out from the rest, and we want everyone to look formal and uniform, so that way it's a nice ceremony. Some other things, caps are just worn parallel to the floor. Please don't carry any personal items like purses or bags of any sort. Leave them in your car, leave them with your family, something like that. You have a lot to do and a lot of walking. That's one less thing you don't want to have to worry about. So just make sure you're following the dress rules. And here's an option for an example as the white button-down shirt and the black pants. And this is an option if you know you might be wearing a dress or a top and a skirt. If you need help financially with any of these items, please see either myself or Ms. Robertson or our school social worker, Ms. Henshaw. We can try and help you find stuff so that way you have the appropriate dress attire. All right, location of graduation. So by 7 p.m. on the day before graduation, so on Friday, there will be a decision made if it's going to be outside or inside. We're planning for an outdoor stadium graduation, but if it's calling for really bad weather and we have to move it indoors, then that decision will be made by 7 p.m. If it is decided that we go inside, that location will not change regardless of the weather Saturday morning. So if Friday it is calling for thunderstorms and heavy rain Saturday morning and they decide it's going to be inside, if Saturday comes around and it's beautiful outside, we're still going to have graduation inside because that's where graduation will be set up. Plans for our outdoor graduation. So it will start directly at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning in the stadium. So that means gates close at 9 because that is when y'all start walking in. So make sure your guests arrive definitely beforehand. All students should be dressed and report to their designated spot, which you will find out where your spot is at graduation practice by 8 a.m. I promise every year we have students who are stuck in traffic because they didn't leave early enough from home to get to graduation. And they're like running down the road trying to get to the school. Please, please, please come early. Do not, don't miss graduation because you're stuck in traffic. For tickets, so all guests will be able to have all students will be able to have 4 guests for a stadium graduation. So you will receive 3 tickets. 1 ticket will be designated for seating of 2 people together on the field. So those 2 people who have the field ticket need to arrive together at the gate. One person cannot come in and say, oh, the other one's going to come in later. They have to come together and they have to sit together. You will also receive 2 other tickets for seating in the stands. So those 2 tickets can be given to 1 person each. They don't have to sit together, but they definitely can. So they have that option. So you'll receive 3 tickets for 4 guests. If you have to have a handicap ticket, which I'll talk more about later too, with how to request those, that does get counted into your 4 guests. So just because you ask for a handicap does not mean you get 5 guests or anything like that. You're a max at 4 guests. All entrances to graduation will be closed right at 9 o'clock, but gates will open at 7:30 in that morning. So if you have your guests and they want to get good seats or go ahead and get out there, they're more than welcome to do that at 7:30 until graduation starts. Please, for all of y'all, just make sure you're arriving between 7:30 and 8, basically to the gym in your designated spot, fully dressed with all of your graduation attire on. If we have to have graduation inside, we will have to do it in 2 ceremonies. So the first ceremony will be for last names A through H, and that will be at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. And this is going to take place in the main gym. For students' last names I through Z, it'll be at 10 o'clock that morning. So in the case of an indoor graduation, you will receive 1 ticket for 2 guests. So you'll be allowed to have 2 guests for an indoor graduation. They have to come and sit together. So again, they have to come in to where the entrance is together with their 1 ticket. Doors will open at 7:15 for that first graduation. For the last names A through H, and then they'll close right at 8 at the start of it. And then for the graduation for the last names I through Z, the doors will open at 9:30. We just ask, please, family to not be standing around waiting for the doors because there's going to be people exiting from the previous ceremony. So just make sure that your families read this because they're going to have lots of questions, and hopefully this helps. In the case of an indoor ceremony, we will provide more information about entry and exit points and stuff like that that night, so just make sure your families are listening for the calls from the school. Y'all are checking your emails and checking the school website and social media so that way you get all the information. All right, May 28th. So ultimately, if you plan on going to a community college or a 4-year college, you definitely need to send your transcript, your final transcript. This will show that you're graduated, that you have all your credits, and you're ready to start at your post-secondary school. So the link is on the website. The link is listed here, but it's also on our school website. If you go to the Students tab and go to Transcript Request, so we just request that y'all do that, pretty soon after graduation, because then you're still considered in our system a current student, so you do not have to pay for your transcript. But as soon as you're no longer in our system, you do have to pay to request a transcript. So we just, recommend y'all doing that earlier than later. And this is all done electronically, so it's really nice. It gets sent immediately, so it doesn't take long for that college to receive the transcript. So just some miscellaneous items. So if you happen to test positive or you're on quarantine when graduation comes around, you will not be able to participate in it. But as soon as your quarantine is up, have a family member call the school, and we will try and coordinate some kind of a private graduation or something to help, so that way you get to have that ceremony as well. If a student does not meet all graduation requirements, so if you are not passing all your core classes that you need for graduation, you might not be able to walk at graduation and participate because you technically have not graduated high school. So if you are kind of on the border right now, or you're not doing so well, now is the time to reach out to your teachers and really see what you can do to get your grade up. We have 5 weeks left. So just, buckle down and work really hard so that way you can participate in graduation. Like Ms. Robertson said earlier, all outstanding fees and debts to the school need to be paid, so by the end of graduation practice. And one thing that we recommend is whenever we have big formal events, especially if it's going to be outside, it's going to be hot, we don't really recommend children under the age of 5 coming because your families are there to see you graduate, and if that child needs a lot of attention, they might not get to see you walk. So, if they can find other ways for their child, to be watched, so that way they can come and not have to have them, that would be great. But if they do bring a child, that's okay. They will be counted though as part of your 4 guests. So that child will have to have a ticket as well. All right, so the last part, the handicap seating and parking. So if you look at the very last sheet of this packet, it is a form, the handicap request form. If you have anyone that you are going to bring as one of your 4 guests, or 1, 2, 3 people, however many, and they need a handicap seating or they need a handicap parking pass, you must complete this form and turn it into Dr. Young no later than May 4th. This is really important because we have to print and cut and divide all of the tickets up for the students. So if you do not turn this in, you will not have handicap reserved for you, okay? So please make sure you turn this in and get it to him. And again, handicap is not in addition to your 4 guests for outdoor or 2 guests for indoor. They will be included in your guest count.